What up, y'all? We have so much Diddy news to get into. In this video, we'll talk about one of Diddy's attorneys is leaving his legal team, their defense being racism, how Cassie's pregnancy may play a pivotal role in this whole case, Diddy's team is requesting more evidence, and finally, that long-awaited Enterprise letter has been delivered. But it's still under sealed. We can't get it, but let's get into it. All right, one of Diddy's lawyers has dropped out of the case, so Anthony RICO has filed a motion to the judge, and it pretty much says, I can't move forward with this case. Here are his exact words. Although I have provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs. So TMZ is reporting the reason he may have left includes internal conflict with the team and just not being prepared. Now, I do want to say that Anthony RICO is not Diddy's lead attorney. Mark Agnifilio is. Mark started representing Diddy after his home was raided like spring of 2024. Anthony came to the team right after Diddy was arrested in September of 2024. It's being reported that Anthony felt like he was blocked from speaking with Diddy directly. Now, from how I view this case, it always seemed like Anthony handled a lot of the family issues. He always seemed like the middleman between Diddy and the kids. He would walk in with the kids. He would speak about the kids. So I don't know if that was the role they were trying to push on him. Like, hey, yo, you just go handle the kids. And Anthony was like, bro, do y'all know who I am? Now, Anthony is a defensive powerhouse now. He's not some old little scraggly lawyer running around here. So he probably felt like, yo, y'all ain't feeling like relegate me to just being the liaison with the family. Yo, I got input too. So TMZ is saying that he wanted to talk to Diddy directly, and it seems like he was being blocked from having that conversation. It's also being reported that Anthony and Mark did not agree with the defense strategy in the case. Right now, the defense is this is all racism, and Cassie and the victims agree to do all these things. That's the defense right now, that these women and men knew what they were signing up for. Sounds like Anthony was like, hey, yo, that might not work. Anthony probably wanted to talk to Diddy directly and say, bro, this is a mountain. You may need to take a plea deal, or we may need to look at a different defense. And Mark Agnifilio is probably like, nope, we can beat this case. This is what we're going to do. TMZ also stated that Anthony felt like they needed more time to prepare for the case, like this is moving entirely too fast. So Anthony probably was like, yo, I'm not about to have my name attached to the Titanic when this ship goes under, so I'm just going to gracefully bow out. Now, as far as them not having enough time to prepare, that's all on Diddy's team. They requested to have a speedy trial. This thing could have been held out for a year or two, but they was like, nope, let's get this thing going. So Anthony was like, look, this is too much information. We got to look through all these tapes. We got to look through all these text messages. We need more time. And it sounds like Diddy team was like, nope, full stream ahead. Let's get it. Now, keep in mind, this is the same team who looked the judge dead in his face and say, oh, Diddy wasn't dragging Cassie back to a freak off. The judge is like, yo, I'm looking at this video, and regardless if he's dragging her back to a freak off or not, he's dragging her down the hallway. And they was like, oh, okay, you right, judge. He is dragging her. Yo, Anthony RICO said, under no circumstances can I move forward and effectively represent him. Anthony was like, yo, this defense of consent and racism is not gonna fly. We got to get a little bit more creative than this. And that leads into the next topic. Diddy's legal team wants count number 3 completely tossed out because they say it's racist. So count number 3 is the transportation to engage in. So the fans are saying Diddy would fly these men in and they would have threesomes. On the surface, this behavior is okay. There's nothing wrong with 3 people closing the door, everybody consenting, and everybody having fun. The problem is you cannot fly in escorts and pay them for these services. It's just illegal. That's just it. Now, both sides have agreed that Diddy was flying these men in, which is wild. I'll never forget it. His lawyer flat out said, hey, yo, we've been talking to the male escorts and they're going to testify that everything was on the up and up. My spidey senses went up like, yo, are y'all openly admitting that Diddy had male escorts come in? Like, you know, that's a crime, right? Now, it's not a crime to have an escort. If you want to fly in a young man or a young lady and y'all go and sit courtside at the Lakers game and everything's cool, that's okay. The problem is when you're flying people in to be intimate. Back to Diddy's defense. His team is saying count number 3, which is sometimes called the Mann Act, and it used to be called the White Slave Traffic Act. This law was created essentially to lock up black men, who they tried to say was taking these young white girls back in the day and was pimping them out. When in reality, some of these girls just wanted to go across state lines and be intimate with some of these famous black men like Chuck Berry. So the law in its inception was rooted in racism, like a lot of laws. So Diddy's team is saying, listen, no white person who is equal in stature to him has ever been charged with this crime. Now, I might be wrong, but I think Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell had these charges. But Diddy's team is trying to use this loophole and say, well, it's not the same because their crimes were involved with minors. But when you break it down, it's essentially about taking people across state lines for the sole purpose of paying them to be intimate with you. It's a crime. Now, their other defense is, mind you, right now, Diddy has 3 victims. They're saying, hey, these were all girlfriends. They're all scorned lovers who just want to take Diddy down. He didn't break any laws. Everything was consensual. Diddy's lawyers are going to have to put these women on the stand and cross-examine them and make them seem like women who signed up for this lifestyle. Y'all knew he was a rock star. He showered them with gifts, trips, luxury, home, cars. And when things went sour, now they want to claim he was this kingpin abuser. That's their defense. Problem is, all of these things can be true. He can be a nice guy who showered these women in luxury, and yet there still could have been a dark side to him that forced and coerced these women into doing things they didn't want to do at times. I may want to have a threesome tonight, but tomorrow I may not want to do it. And what these allegations are, Diddy would either drug, abuse, threaten, stalk, go to these extreme measures to get these women to comply with these demands. And we've seen video proof. We have heard people talk openly about the things before Cassie even spoke about it. So can he beat this case? All he needs is one person to say, hey, they knew what they signed up for. Problem is, the feds are about to put on the stand victims, witnesses, bad boy employees. Everybody is going to turn around and point the finger at him and say, he made us do all these things. We were scared. He threatened our jobs. He threatened our livelihoods. They did the same thing with R. Kelly. Now, in other Diddy news, Cassie is pregnant with her 3rd child. Congratulations. She's with a man who wanted to marry her. So yeah, she's good and pregnant. She looks like she's about 5 to 6 months. And if I'm the prosecution, I would be scared because Cassie is the star witness in this case. This trial is set to start in 3 months. She'll probably be 9 months or maybe even have had the baby by the time the trial starts, and they're walking a fine line on if she'll be able to testify or not. Oh my. If the prosecution team loses Cassie, yikes. Now, they still have a good case against them, but she's definitely the star witness. On the contrary, if she's pregnant and you put her on the stand and she's crying, talking about everything she went through, that's going to be tough on a jury, man. Diddy has the cards stacked against him. Gosh. Next up, Diddy's legal team wants a bill of particulars. So a bill of particulars is a document that goes into detail about how the government wants to charge a criminal. So it may include victims, witnesses. It helps the defense understand the case in totality so they're not surprised at trial. The defense is saying, hey, y'all will get this information, but you're not going to get it right now. They're worried that if they give Diddy all this information too far in advance, he's going to witness tamper. They most likely feel like he's going to try to pay people off, intimidate people, use his inner circle on the outside to bother these people. And we know his people will do it. For example, his sons have had confrontations with Ray J, as well as former bad boy artist Chopper City, because his kids are upset about how some of these people are talking about Diddy, so they going around checking people. And the feds see all this stuff. The feds say, hey, we've given you guys 20 terabytes of information. We just gave you a 16-page enterprise list. All this is enough information to help you get prepared for trial right now. They're saying, hey, we're going to follow the schedule set by the judge. You guys will get all of the information before the trial starts, but we're going to follow the dates. You'll get more information on March 21st, and then on April 14th, you'll get the witness list. Now, enterprise letter. It's currently sealed. We can't see it, but they have given us a little bit of information on what it may have included. included. They stated on February 1st, the government provided the defendant with a 16-page enterprise letter outlining in detail the racketeering activity and related conduct that the government currently expects to prove at trial in connection with the charged racketeering conspiracy offense. The enterprise letter describes these acts in details, including their approximate dates and people involved, for example, their title at the defendant's company, or providing other identifying features. In short, these additional disclosures undermine any claim by the defendant that he is not aware of the nature of the charges pending against him. So I've always said this case is very small. A lot of the co-defendants or witnesses are probably going to be people who's close to Diddy, like employees, security, drivers, assistants, people like that. It's not going to be these rappers and politicians and CEOs. So as of right now, Diddy has that enterprise letter, so he knows who the government has been talking to as far as potential co-defendants or employees or people who they feel like may have helped you commit some of these crimes that they're trying to prove. Whew. Man, oh man, Diddy is climbing up a very steep hill at this point. But hey, yo, leave your comments. How do y'all feel about all these topics? Thanks for hanging out with me. Peace.